Plus, this morning, we are entering day 34 of the government shutdown. Millions of Americans no longer have access to food assistance, and federal workers are going without paychecks. But at Mar-a-Lago this weekend, all the opulence of the Roaring '20s was on full display, with President Trump hosting a Great Gatsby-themed party. We will dig into that parallel. Also ahead, we'll play for you what President Trump admitted in a 60 Minutes interview about his pardon for a crypto tycoon who has ties to the Trump family businesses. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It is Monday, November 3rd. With us, we have the co-host of our fourth hour, staff writer at The Atlantic, Jonathan Lemire. MSNBC political analyst and former U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill is with us. U.S. special correspondent for BBC News and the hosts of the Rest is Politics podcast, Katty Kay, back with us. And politics reporter for Semaphore, Dave Weigel, is here. And senior writer for The Dispatch and a columnist for Bloomberg Opinion, David Drucker. He's an MSNBC contributor.
And John Lemire, of course, the president saying he knew nothing about this crypto giant, who it was, who he pardoned. It reminds me of the old saying about Donald Trump. When he says he knows nothing about something, he knows everything about something. And when he says he knows everything about something, he probably knows nothing about that very subject.
Yeah, and in this case, he says he knows nothing about a subject when he knows it's not good for him to acknowledge that he knew what he was doing, trying to really distance himself from a pretty controversial pardon. Binance founder Changpeng Zhao, who was pleaded guilty to violating anti-money laundering laws. That's the person in question here. But he sort of got a pardon out of nowhere, and people are wondering why that is. It's in part because they have extraordinary crypto business with the Trump family. The Trump eldest sons, Don Jr. and Eric Trump, have been heavily into crypto ventures over the last last year or two, started during the campaign, and now, of course, while their father is in the White House. And last time, in Trump's first term, there was at least a very flimsy but firewall, I guess, between administration business and the Trump family business. No pretense that that's the case this time around at all. The family has enriched itself time and time again. Yeah. And they were the ones who brought the pardon to their father's attention.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Gatsby-themed party. While food stamps are going to be cut, while food assistance is being slashed, while members of Congress and a lot of people in that room are getting paid for working, but they're making sure that federal employees are not getting paid while they work. And all of this opulence at a time when, 2 out of 3 Americans say that Donald Trump is not doing what they thought he was going to do on the economy. And I'm just, I'm curious, just on a personal, do you have any, or has anybody been keeping track of exactly how much Donald Trump and the family have made since he's become president with their cryptocurrency deals? Because it used to be where, last term it'd be like, oh, well, somebody may have stayed in one of his hotels and boy, that's murky. And does that reach the emoluments clause? Here, it's just straight out cryptocurrency and billions of dollars reportedly left and right. How much money have they racked up over the last 9-10 months?
The fact that we don't know is another problem here, Joe. There's no transparency. Yes, I think it's fair to say tens, if not hundreds of millions. There are some estimates that say, yes, could be $1 billion or more that the various Trump enterprises have made since President Trump took office, because there is no effort to separate their business. In fact, there is deliberate attempts from the family, it would certainly seem, and reportedly so, to enrich themselves by manipulating the father's work in office, and he's getting legislation passed or executive orders passed that are beneficial to them. And you're right, we should note that party on Friday, as the government remained shut down just hours before the snap deadline, where suddenly millions of Americans would go hungry. This Great Gatsby-themed party at Mar-a-Lago. I'm going to hazard a guess that President Trump hasn't read the book. It turns out knows how it turned out. But a White House official there told the pool, that's why we have these images. The White House press pool was briefly allowed inside. What we're not showing here is there are also scantily clad dancers in martini glasses. But that White House official, Joe and Mika, told the pool there, quote, "A little party never killed nobody."
All right. Well,
I'll tell you what, it certainly, if I were a Republican running on Tuesday, and again, there's this obliviousness to what's going on there. There's this self-dealing, there are these Gatsby-themed parties. And again, let's show this poll, NBC News poll, that shows that when it comes to, we've talked about the right track, wrong track direction over and over again, that's upside down, that most people, most polls that were out last week and the week before showed Donald Trump in the 30s as far as approval ratings on the economy. Here, only 34% of Americans believe that he's lived up to expectations on the economy. Nearly 2 out of 3 say he's fallen short. And with food assistance being torn from people in red state America, especially, but also blue state America, there are a lot of people in his own party that are asking what the hell's going on.
yeah.